More Sonic, the road to productivity with Carillon ERP. Carillon has been around for almost 20 years. We have installations throughout the US, Canada, South Pacific, Bermuda, and Hong Kong, and in a wide variety of industries. The Journal of Accountancy rated Carillon as one of the top 10 mid-level ERP packages out there. More Sonic is one of the many companies achieving a higher level of productivity as a result of Carillon ERP. The More Sonic franchise began about 36 years ago when Janet Moore and her husband Joe opened up a Sonic drive-in in Oklahoma. Now the Moore family owns and operates more than 30 Sonic locations throughout Oklahoma and Arkansas and has no intention of stopping at that. Just as their family continues to grow, so does their franchise, and consequently the amount of information they need to record. With so many locations, they rely heavily on an ERP system to help them manage their information and streamline their day-to-day business operations. However, the more and more information they fed their Mass 90 ERP system, the slower it became. Even the simple task of writing payables checks took Janet all afternoon.
When we had Mass 90, it was just getting slower and slower. The more companies we added, the slower it seemed to be getting. Where we had so many companies that it was hard to find what you were looking for. But mainly it was the speed. It was just really slow.
It was getting to where it took a lot of time to do any process. You had to go in and out of the separate companies every time you wanted to do anything, and the lag time in between each process was getting worse, I think. It was taking a long time to do things.
So at first, Automatic worked perfectly streamlessly with Mass 90, but it seemed to develop more and more problems. In the end, we could not process all the files even overnight. It would take longer than overnight to get all the files.
The biggest challenge More Sonic faced was the speed. Mass 90 had become progressively slower over the years due to increasing amounts of data. The system itself was slow, the automatic interface took a painfully long time to upload transactions, updating data consistently took overnight, and completing simple tasks could take hours. The system's speed, or lack thereof, caused a domino effect of delays throughout the company. For example, since updating took so long, the payroll department was falling behind, and finishing payroll on time was becoming problematic. Additionally, More Sonic's employees were particularly frustrated with the amount of time and complication tasks took with Mass 90. It made quick, easy tasks tedious and complicated because they required numerous steps and windows, which was exacerbated by the fact that Mass 90 only allows one window to be open at a time. Imagine how long a multi-window task took. Even more annoying than closing one window before opening another was having to log out of the company's database anytime they wanted to switch between different companies. Mass 90 treated every franchise location as an individual company with its own database. As a result, it forced More Sonic to log out of and then back into a company every time they wanted to switch working between their 30-plus franchise locations. Mass 90 not only lacked multi-company functionality, it also lacked intercompany functionality, making simple tasks both extremely time-consuming and confusing to complete. For example, More Sonic's franchise office had a hard time allocating resources and invoices for orders they made in one transaction between their different locations. Mass 90's limited functionality also meant that More Sonic had no way to upload or store documents digitally within their system. As a result, they had to store massive amounts of paper documents from their 30-plus locations, on-site or in their storage warehouse. Both mailing in the documents and having to store all the paper was extremely costly, inefficient, hard to manage, and often ended up affecting other aspects of their business. For example, Mooresonic was forced to pay their food order invoices before actually seeing them. This occurred because although food order invoices were placed and then mailed to the franchise office the same day, the invoices would not arrive until the next day at the earliest, by which time they already needed to be paid. Mass 90 also forced Mooresonic to purge their historical data at least once a year because of the system's limited storage capacity. They had no way to see any information that was older than a few years. This not only led to an enormous amount of paper records that they had to store, but also meant finding any one piece of information was tremendously difficult. The storage warehouse got so full that only Janet's grandson could fit in it, and he would have to spend hours climbing around and over boxes looking for the old record they needed. Furthermore, Mooresonic's accounting and payroll departments were becoming increasingly bogged down by employee requests for historical pay stubs and simple changes to their tax forms. With Mass 90, employees had no way to look up their own historical payment information or make simple changes like updating their address or indicating that they got married to their tax forms. It was taking the payroll clerks countless hours a month to complete these requests, and significantly reducing the amount of time they could spend on their jobs. Support was also terrible with Mass 90. Mooresonic hated having to contact their local dealer or the corporation's headquarters to receive support, and normally it didn't come in a timely manner and sometimes not even at all. Automatic support had also deteriorated over the years. Between the lack of functionality and support, the slowness of the system, and the complicated nature of tasks, every duty the franchise office needed to perform was taking exponentially longer than it should be, and in many cases, the staff was missing deadlines or paying bills without first seeing them. The ERP system that was supposed to make their jobs easier and their company run more efficiently was now a liability, threatening their productivity and in turn their profitability. Janet knew something had to be done. She decided it was time for not only a change but also an upgrade. She began searching for a new system online, and after reading countless lists of product features and working with a product recommendation website, Janet wasn't sure that any package could fully satisfy their needs. That was until she was recommended Carillon ERP and watched their on-site demo. Carillon ERP's speed, intuitiveness, functionality, and the company itself blew Janet away. After learning that Carillon ERP could be customized and enhanced to fit all of her business's needs, like a new and problem-free interface to work with their POS system Automatic, she was sold. Carillon created a personal support team to work with the employees at Mooresonic so that they could better understand how the business operated. By doing so, they determined the best ways to utilize Carillon ERP, as well as figure out where the system needed to be enhanced or tweaked to fully meet all of their needs. Together, they determined that the system must be able to handle large amounts of data from multiple companies, have the capacity to upload and store all business records online, operate in an easy and intuitive manner, allow employees to access and alter some of their own records, and come with an excellent support team.
I actually had demonstrations from, I think, 4 others, and Carillon just came out on top.
Carillon seemed to be simpler to use when they came and demonstrated it to us. It seemed as though it would require very little training to learn it because it was just very user friendly. So, and it seemed to address everything that we needed.
Janet and all of the Mooresonic employees noticed the benefits of Carillon ERP immediately. The way Carillon was designed solved their biggest problem, the system's slowness. From its inception, Carillon ERP was designed to be used company-wide and store huge amounts of data. Consequently, no matter how much you add to the system, it easily processes large amounts of data. This means those who use it will never experience a slowing down over the years like Sonic had with Mass 90. Another reason why Carillon ERP functions so much more quickly than Mass 90 is its real-time functionality. Following one of the tenets of Know It Now management, which is promulgated by Pettit Consulting PC, a CPA firm that limits its practice to information technology consulting, Carillon operates in real time, updating data immediately following its entry. This eliminates the frustrating need to wait for data to be pushed through the system or batch processed. Not only is the process of updating data to the system itself much faster, but tasks are also simpler and require fewer steps to complete. Carillon ERP was designed by an IT professional with a background in accounting, who had implemented a myriad of different ERP systems. When designing Carillon ERP, he wanted a system that took into consideration the end user's perspective, so it would function more intuitively and easily. As such, you complete most tasks in the most efficient, rational, and uncomplicated way. As a result of Carillon's intuitive, user-friendly interface, implementing Carillon ERP was more seamless and took far less training than Janet had anticipated.
Having to switch between windows, being able to print a check is so easy and so quick. Before we were going through several different screens just to print one check, and what would take me at least half a day before is now taking 30 minutes.
Not only is Carillon ERP more intuitive to those at Sonic, but it functions better as well. Carillon operates on one database with multi-company functionality that allows the user to sign in only once but have access to all of the companies they create. This means that no one at Sonic has to sign out of a company's database and then back into a different company's database when they want to switch between different franchise locations. And Carillon ERP still allows you to determine security rights for each company. Carillon ERP also features rich intercompany functionality, which has saved employees at Sonic a lot of time and hassle by allowing them to manage all 30+ franchise locations at once. The functionality ranges from allocating costs or resources to multiple companies to writing one check to a single supplier from multiple companies. And all of the payables and receivables are entered automatically. For instance, if Janet wanted to, she could process one vendor's invoice and allocate specific costs to the different drive-ins.
I'll just give you one example of one of the things that I'm just thrilled with. In Mass 90, with going in and out of companies, there's one time a month that I write one check out of every company to the same place. And in Mass 90, even though I had it set up to, recurring checks, with going in and out of the companies and all of the steps in each one and the lag time between the different points of the process, it took me all afternoon to do it. In Carillon, I can do it in about 45 minutes.
Carillon ERP's integration with the document imaging system QuickTag also reduces the amount of time tasks take, the amount of paper documents needed to be stored, as well as enables Sonic to improve some of the ways they do business. With Carillon ERP, every location now has the ability to scan documents into the system, and an authorized user can see and print these documents right after they're scanned, no matter where they're located. Never again will the documents need to be mailed or faxed to Sonic's franchise office, and they will have no need for their storage warehouse. This means Janet's 5-year-old grandson will be out of a job climbing through the maze of boxes in the warehouse to fetch old documents. In conjunction with QuickTag, Carillon ERP has unlimited storage capacity. Sonic never has to purge any old data when they start a new period or year. They also no longer need to keep paper records because they can print any part of their ledgers or journals as of any period or year. Webpack, Carillon ERP's online portal for employees, vendors, customers, and salespeople, enables these groups to perform simple, easy, and safe information inquiries, thereby minimizing the workload strain on Sonic's payroll clerks. For example, they no longer have to mail paper pay stubs to all of their employees. Instead, each employee can log on to Webpack using their unique ID and password and retrieve and print their own pay stubs. Additionally, employees can now get W-2 forms, make changes to their W-4 forms, see their year-to-date payroll summaries, and more. If an employee does not have internet access, their supervisor can do any of these things for them. Carillon ERP allows Sonic's payroll clerks to actually do their job.
The employee to be able to look it up themselves rather than calling Sarah all the time, because she gets a lot of calls for people who need a copy of their last pay stub or for one reason or another, and she has to deal with that a lot. So if they could just look it up themselves, then that would save Sarah a lot of time.
Moreover, Sonic needed an ERP system that was scalable, adaptable to their unique requirements, and able to interface with Ordermatic or any future POS system. With Mass90, they had trouble getting system updates because of their Ordermatic interface that was created by a third party. But now with Carillon ERP, all of their enhancements and customizations are developed in-house and get added back to the core product, eliminating any future updating issues that one normally experiences with third-party add-ons. So implementing new builds and versions couldn't be easier.
Sometimes there are special reports that we need or whatever, and they were very adamant that they could provide us with little tweaks to the program and whatever, and that was very appealing to us.
Lastly, Sonic noticed that Carillon's excellent support and training helped their implementation run smoothly and successfully. While Carillon might not be in your backyard, you might feel like we are. Unlike most ERP companies where you just get a local dealer, with Carillon you get direct access to a developer, senior manager, and a quality and assurance team member to help you through your entire implementation process and provide any training or technical support you may need in the future. Sonic, like many others, has found this to be more beneficial than a local dealer who knows considerably less about the technical side of ERP systems and who likely can't develop when enhancements are wanted.
There's been more on-site with Carillon, and I think that's maybe one of the things I wasn't necessarily expecting.
And if there's a problem, you can come to us. Sometimes you just don't grasp things. You know, if they're just logging onto your computer and showing you over the phone, whereas if you've got a live body there, it helps you to understand it better. So that definitely did play into it.
Overall, Carillon has made everyone at Sonic more productive, thus making the family business more successful.
Would you recommend the product to other either Sonic franchises or other consumers in general?
Actually, I already have.
Oh, fantastic.
Put our solution to the test. Contact us for a free demo today.